Today we're going to continue our discussion of the 8 strands of the brocade. Want to break down each of the movements so you feel more comfortable with it. So it's not going to be all 8 of them. We've done the first 4. Now we're going to look at the last 4 and look at them each individually. Number 5 is a funny one, wiggle head, wag tail. Now I'll warn you, you may hear different names for these movements, but they are essentially the same thing. I like the name wiggle head, wag tail. I think it's fun to think about what are you doing. So with wiggle head, wag tail, you want to take your hands and put the thumbs to the back and put them on your thighs. Now bring your legs a little bit more than shoulder width apart. You want to have a relaxed stance, keeping the back as straight as you can. You bend from the knees to where you feel comfortable. Because then at this point, this is where it gets its name. You're going to basically draw a circle with your head by hinging from your hips. You're going to start leaning over to the right and then draw a circle with your head coming up to the left and coming back to the center. Then you're going to go from the left to the right and come back up. Again, trying to keep that back as straight as you can, keeping yourself in a good stance as well. When you wiggle your head and wag your tail, as you're coming around to the right, let your eyes, about this point, gaze at your right heel. And then come back up. And now, as you're going to the left, let your eyes gaze at your left heel. And circle back up. This is a great one just for overall circulation, for really just working strength in the legs, but also working on massaging those internal organs so that they can do what they're supposed to be doing, getting rid of things and utilizing good things, right? We get rid of the waste and we take in the good. The next movement, massage kidneys, grab toes. It's really for flexibility, for working the core again, for actually stimulating those kidneys. When you do your massage kidneys, grab toes, you don't actually have to be flexible enough to grab your toes. I'm going to give you a few variations for this one. So we're going to start, again, when you have your feet about shoulder width apart, make sure your knees are not locked. You're going to take a nice deep breath in and circle those arms around. Palms are down at this point. When they get to about just below the breast line, you're going to turn the palms up. And touching your body, you're going to bring your hands to the back right here, where your kidneys are, unless you've had a kidney transplant. If you have your kidneys right here, and you are actually going to massage those kidneys. Now I have my microphone right here, so it looks a little funky, I'm sure, in the video, but just ignore this lump right here. I don't really have a lump in my back. That's my microphone. Massage those kidneys. Now rubbing your hands down the back side of your body. As much as you can, try to reach for the inside of your legs. You're going to hinge down. And hinging means you move that rear end backwards. You're moving from your hips. You're not squatting. You're not rounding. You push back like a door, like the hinge on a door, and hinge down. Now you're rubbing to the back side of your legs. If you're flexible enough to touch your toes, grab those toes. This is a variation. If you're not flexible enough, you can just grab here on your legs or put your hands above your knees. Important part, trying to keep that back nice and straight. Now, you'll feel a stretch through your hamstrings and your rear end at this point. That's a good thing. That's part of that flexibility. One version of coming back up as we massage kidneys, grab toes, is to now actually bend from the knees and bring those arms up, straight up, and then back down to start again. Another variation of that, after you've massaged kidneys all the way down, grab toes, is to rub the front coming back up. Sometimes that feeling of that circular energy where you've rubbed down the back and then you rub up the front, keeping that circular pattern going, that feels good for your energy. So massage kidneys, grab toes. There's different ways to do this. Take a nice deep breath in, breathing out, then flip the palms. Bring it to the back, massage those kidneys, and then rubbing down the back side of your body. Try to grab toes, and then coming up either by rubbing the front, or if we do it again, flipping the palms, rub down the back, then bend those knees slightly as you come up so that you're protecting your back, and come back down. So now number 7 is punch with intense eye. When you punch, you want to make a fist, but a fist in such a way that I never want you to do it in real life, okay? You're going to put this thumb right in the middle and then curl those other fingers around. So you put the thumb in and curl it around. Now this is a horrible way to make a fist if you're actually going to punch something. You always want that thumb on the outside if you're actually going to punch. But in this Qigong movement, this is called the labor palace. It's an acupressure point, relieving anxiety and reducing inflammation in the body. It's called the labor palace. You actually want to stimulate that by putting the thumb inside. When we do our punch with intense eye, we're in a wide stance again, like our wiggle head, wag tail, and we're going to drop. Again, keeping that back nice and straight. You drop to where it's comfortable for you. Challenging is good. We're trying to work a little bit on leg strength here. Bringing your hands to your hips. As you look forward, you actually want to open your eyes nice and wide. You're going to punch out with this right hand. Notice my palm is up at this point. And then I'm going to open up my hand and I'm going to turn. Okay? I want my hand to be at as much a 90-degree angle as possible as I open up that palm, and then I turn a doorknob. It's like I'm opening up a door, turning a doorknob, only now my hand is in this 90-degree angle and I'm turning. This is actually really good for the muscles and the tendons in your forearm. Think about what we do in our modern life, right? On our typing, right? This is actually stretching and massaging those tendons and muscles in your forearms. So as you're here, keeping the back nice and straight, turn, and then with the thumb down, notice how I've turned my hand so my fingers are pointing towards the inside of my body, my thumb is pointing down, and then I open that doorknob going to the outside, put my thumb back in and curl it, bring it back. Then try it with the other side, open, putting that thumb down, and remember you want your hand as back at 90 degrees as possible, and then open, turning to the outside, coming back in. Punch, open that doorknob, bring it back in, punch it out, open, and bring it back in. Now the staring into the distance with your eyes is actually really healthy for your eyes if you have something long distance to be looking at. It's a little odd looking into the mirror, just looking at myself. It still helps the muscles of the eyes to widen like this, but it will help your eye health if you can do this outside and stare out into the mountains. You know, I'm in Colorado. I can look into the distance and try to see as much of the mountain as I can. So punch with intense eye. Remember this kind of fist and the opening of the doorknobs, also building up some strength and vitality in your legs. Number 8 is the easiest one of all. Bounce on heels, and that's really what you're doing. You're bouncing on your heels. This, where you just lift onto your toes and then allow gravity to let your body drop down. You're not forcing yourself down into the ground. You just lift and then drop. Lift and drop. And you let your body shake. You let that vibration happen, which is actually very healthy for your body. Lift and drop. Ideally, you do that 7 times. There is a variation for this one where you don't just lift and drop, but you actually do some light bouncing like that. Either way, this is actually really healthy. That vibration, like I said, is good for your bone density. You might not think of just lifting and dropping, but that is actually a good impact for your bones to help them build up their density. It's a safe way to do it as well. So with your 8 strands of the brocade, these 4 are traditionally the last 4. Now remember, with Qigong, you don't have to do all 8 of them. You can focus on wiggle head, wag tail. If that's really where you need to be, you feel like your body needs that. You can do that one 5 times and then do bounce on heels. You don't have to do all 8. You don't have to do all 8 in order. It is a very relaxing, stretching, opening, energizing routine if you do all 8 of them. But practice just doing one at a time individually so that you start to understand and start to feel how each one is helping your body. Because that's really the goal, is to help your body be as healthy as it can be.